Okay. Okay, this is session 2 of Trophy Gold, the Tomb of the Serpent Kings. The last time, a quick recap. Last time, your characters, Kel and Marcus, were traveling to Valley of the Ancients. They believe they knew or they understood generally where the entrance to an ancient temple or ancient tomb was. They found the entrance to the tomb and explored it and discovered that it might be a false tomb, that there might be more tomb to come. Before all of that, we had a couple of incidents. One on the road where you chased off some brigands who you have named the Brotherhood of the Sting or something like that. And um, and then Kel, I believe it was Kel, Kel made contact with an entity that you're calling the Spinner of Civilization, a large arachnid-like creature with a miniature city on its back, or at least the model of a miniature city. Communed with it, received its blessing, and that is the thing that's going on as well. In the false tomb, you found some treasures. You fought a um, an undead snake man thing, a child of the serpent, and then you found a stairway going down into what is presumably out of character we know to be the true tomb. And I think it's where we pick up. Is there anything I missed or anything you want to say? Right. In that case, let's. I think you had already searched the child of the serpent's body, right? And you retrieved like some gold tipped or gold flecked fangs, something like that, right? Um, this staircase. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I do think I had at the very end, didn't we end with me having tipped over and fallen down the stairs?
I don't remember that.
I thought we cliffhangered with me having fallen down the stairs.
Fraser, do you remember that? I don't remember that.
I don't think.
Maybe I
I
I think
think.
you
maybe
just
I
I
made
thought
that
think.
up. I
No,
don't
I
know.
think that was a condition of failure for what you were gonna do, but then
there
you
we go.
succeeded, and
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was something like that. I don't distinctly remember that. In any case, we'll retcon it to where you're not falling down the stairs. Um, so you're going down this spiraling staircase. Who's in the lead?
I'll probably take points unless you want to.
oh no, I was gonna suggest you.
Good thing you're both synced up on that. Yeah, so you're heading down. I will tell you that you no longer have the benefit of any ambient light coming in from the entrance to the tomb. And so, how are you handling that?
I use my grease. I'll just use one of my slots for a torch.
Okay, okay, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
is torch an option, or do you always get torch? I can't
Oh,
remember.
I don't know. I didn't. Let's see.
Oh, you can get torches. Yeah, you can choose torches. Yeah, go for it.
Cool. So I'll just
Um,
hold it like right behind so that it lights the way for Marcus or something.
yeah, absolutely. Um, you're heading down, and I think the stairway is there's nothing remarkable going on there necessarily. I need to pull up my PDF. Hold on. Oh, and also, what's the token count between you right now? Let me get a check on that real quick.
I've got one.
Okay. Tyler, do you remember how many tokens you have?
I'm looking to see. I know I put it on a place, or at least I thought I did. Tokens, 0. Apparently, I have nothing marked.
Right, sounds good. So, get my. Here we go. The stairs end. It's not a very deep descent, maybe just like floor or two. And as long as you're being fairly careful, you won't run into any trouble. They end and indeed open up into the center of an octagonal room. And this room is ringed with large, glaring statues of the children of the Serpent, kind of staring down. And these statues that ring the room, they're all about like 10 feet tall. And they all seem to be like kind of looking at this big round pit in the center of the room. And this pit is filled with this oily, very, very foul smelling liquid. The room also contains a number of passages going off of its, it's octagonal, so counting the one that you came in from, there are 7 other like passages, one on each wall. Okay. One of the passages is fully open, and in your torchlight, you can see that it goes ahead into another place. 5 of them are closed with sort of heavy wooden doors. And the last one is actually blocked by this elaborate stone door with carvings of snakes raining down from the sky. So 7 passages, 1 open, 5 sealed with doors, and then the last one sealed with a very impressive door with strange carvings. Let's start with Marcus. What do you do?
Kel, my dear boy, I'd say to stay away from that pool. It looks most unhealthful. And I'm going to head over towards the more elaborate door, and without trying to touch it or anything, I'm going to shine the light a bit here, if you would, and
light,
and see if I can tell anything about this. What's carved on there? If there's any sort of writing or anything.
Yeah, I think that's great. Let's just do a hunt roll.
Okay.
So you get 1 light die because you always get 1, and then you get another one for either equipment or skills. And I'll take the torch in this case.
Well, or would just for information's sake, a little. Would my curses perhaps give me one in this case?
If you were specifically looking for something like that, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah. Yeah, that's my worry. Tombs are known to be cursed.
Indeed. A totally fair thing. Regardless, you get 2 dice, so go for it.
Alrighty. Rolling 2 die. Submit. A 5 and a 6.
Nice. 6 is best result. You have a token, and as you move the torch across the surface of the door, the carvings, the torchlight illuminates the carvings very well. And this is a sort of it's the sort of thing that you might find in a temple that has a very strong ideology about the way the world should go. Frequently in temples that you've been in, you'll see like these carvings of like gods or other beings like asserting their dominion over the realms of men. And this is a similar thing. It's just like these snakes falling from the sky or whatever. As best you can tell, though, there's no real danger in it. You don't notice any markings that would indicate a curse, and you don't see anything that resembles the trap upstairs. So,
well, it isn't as unfriendly as I feared, Kel. What do you think?
Oh, and I should also tell you before we continue, this is a new set, the True Tomb set, and I will tell you this is out of character knowledge, but the set goal is to find the treasures of the Snake Men, the children of the Serpent.
Ooh, okay. Kel, what do you think? Shall we try this, well, most impressive door, or do you think it's wiser to maybe reconnoiter the areas around first.
Well, the last door we tried to open hit me with an axe, so I say we go with the other stuff
That's what
first.
seems. I'm not entirely certain, but it seems safer.
Mm-hmm.
But I will bow to your youthful enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Well, so Kel, that's a great question. I mean, there's the pit, there are the statues, there's the 5 closed up passageways, and then the one that is fully open. What do you do?
I'm going to assume that for the people that worship the snake in here, there is some clue in the room as to what is the right way to go and what is the wrong way to go. And maybe understanding the god is the way to go or something like that. So I want to inspect.
Oh, to find out if
Yeah.
there's a religious component to this.
Yeah, like maybe a word or a number is reoccurring and that's the door we will go through, or something like that. There must be some direction for these followers where they won't die and go to the
Nice.
right place.
Yeah, I like that. And you have rituals, you have gods. That's plenty of applicable skills here. So go ahead and roll 2 light dice for the hunt roll.
Maybe I'll go into a trance at the same time, get it all going. Okay, so 2 dice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Magenta go. Oh, that's 2 4s.
Okay, let's remind ourselves what happens on a 4.
My usual.
You take a token, but you encounter something terrible. So mark your token. So as you are examining the scene, I will tell you that the position of the snakemen statues, particularly as they're staring at the pit, indicate that the pit is of religious significance. Either something grew there, something lived there, or something was cast down there. There's a number of possibilities, and I think as perhaps you are somewhat not heeding Margus's advice about not getting too close to the pit. Quite suddenly, flying out of the liquid and scrambling up your leg and grasping at your shirt is a severed arm with long, sort of just very like extra long fingers. And this arm kind of like lurches out of the liquid, grabs onto your leg, and is just kind of climbing up, and it's trying to get up to your neck, basically. What do you do?
I burn it.
Okay. Marcus, what do you do once you realize this is happening?
So it's own him.
Oh yeah, it's like climbing up.
Then smashing it with my mace probably would not be a wise idea.
Probably no less wise than burning it while it's on Cal.
Yeah, I hate to be a one-trick pony, but I think repelling the thing still seems like my best option, so I can try and get it to release before we do stuff. So that's what I'm going to try and do, is do my ritual.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I like this. I think there's a couple of ways we can handle this mechanically. We can go straight to combat and treat the repel as a combat thing. Or alternatively, you can do a risk roll with the repel ritual. And if you succeed, I think you'll actually have the arm like in a place where it's no longer like it's no longer dangerous, and you can just like kill it, right? Or destroy it. I think those are probably the two kind of like things that are going on here.
Okay, if we went into combat, would it be like me doing my repel to help?
Yeah, it would just. I think that would just be part of the fictional positioning, like we did last time. If you go into combat, it has a rating of 8, so you would have to get 8 on 2 dice. Not unfeasible, but a thing.
What you think, Kel? You look like you're up for a fight, or shall I call upon my mystic arts?
You should probably act first before I burn myself.
Okay. I love it. All right, so let's do a risk roll. I think that's as you've described it anyway. I think that makes the most sense. But I thought I would just kind of lay out what the possibilities were mechanically. You get a light die. Actually, first of all, what do you hope to accomplish here?
My hope is that with the repel, it'll fling off of Kel so that we can, surround it, fight it, rather than it
smash it, whatever.
Yeah.
What could go wrong, Fraser?
It's immune to magical effects.
That and it just attacks anyway. Yeah. I think the ultimate thing that could go wrong is that it just gets its grip around Kel's neck and chokes Kel out. I think either way, I think we're kind of leading up to that end point. Okay, so let's take a look at the roll here. You get a light die if the task is something you're skilled at because of your occupation or background, or because you're taking advantage of a piece of equipment or the environment.
Is it? Let's see. Would it be? Let's see. Skills off of that.
Spirits, possibly.
Spirits, possibly. It has to be spirity in some way.
Yeah, I think spirits is fair. Okay. Then you get another light die if you accept a devil's bargain. I think I'm going to offer this devil's bargain. No matter what, the fingers dig into Kel's flesh and get some of that foul liquid into his wound.
Yeah, I'll take that devil's bargain.
Great. Yeah, I'm like, Marcus, these are French tipped.
And it's a ritual. Does that mean it automatically
must take the dark die? Yeah,
must have a dark die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get the roll on the table first, then we'll describe it.
All right. I'm going to put into purple die as my roll. So I'll submit them, and then I'll roll one of these silvers in a second to go with it. So 2 purples coming in, double 6s.
You're roll for your bar is very nice, very, very kind to you, Tyler.
It really has been. And a 1 on my dark die.
It's the best possible result. Yeah, that's good.
Wow.
Okay, good. Describe the ritual, then describe the outcome, and then I'll describe the wound that Kel takes.
Since I'm working with this in a more spiritual manner, I think that we where before I just sort of had in almost a rush had repelled the thing up above. This time we hear me muttering in sort of this almost Gregorian chant sort of rumble. And as I push towards it walking, it's almost like I'm walking against a wind as it's resisting me. And we see it grip as it claws, removing itself from Kel. And it sort of stands suspended in the air for a moment before, with a loud "Off!" I slam it back some distance away.
Nice, I love it. And I think the force of it flying off is actually what cuts you. I think the nails tear into your leg a little bit, Kel, and within literal seconds of how do you just first of all describe how do you both dispatch the arm once it's off? What do you do? Just have that little moment.
Go ahead, Fraser. You're the one that got hurt by it.
Well, I like the idea of it being thrown onto a spike or something like that was jetting out. So it's
yeah, that's pretty. Something of the Snake Man.
Yeah.
The Snake Man statue has a spear or something, and it flies, and that's pretty good.
And I like that it has death throws in its hand. The fingers are ah.
Awesome. I will tell you that within seconds of the thing being destroyed, you feel the wound, and if you look down, you see what appears to be an already festering green sort of rotting of the flesh near where it cut you, where the fingers cut you, and this is on the meaty part of your thigh. What do you do, Kel?
Maybe I have some sort of first aid kit or something like that for for tending wounds.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at the drop down and see if such
Oh
a thing
yeah.
is available.
I keep
It's
forgetting that it's just not everything that I
yeah,
want.
it's not Dungeon World. It's a little more. It's a little bit more creative constraint than that.
Padlock. Doesn't seem like anything
Does not
medical.
seem like it. Uh, no skills that would work necessarily. I mean, you could just try it unskilled, I suppose. Um, Marcus, do you have any thoughts? Assuming that Kel brings this to your attention.
Oh yeah.
Uh, my boy, we probably should tie it off before the infection spreads. It may be poison.
Does fire burn out poison?
Uh,
Do you want to try that?
I'll try
It might
anything at
work.
this point. I would like to keep a limb, please, Alex.
I cannot say for sure, but it is spreading rapidly.
Yeah, and none of this is like this is not within either of your wheelhouses. So,
This is true.
okay. So,
Oh,
um,
what about a ritual to cleanse it?
do you have a appropriate ritual?
I have rituals as a skill.
Oh, but you don't have like an actual ritual.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm going to say that you have to come up with a different fictional justification for cleansing the wound. I mean, I'm open to like anything creative. So just if you have any thoughts. Otherwise, you're going to take a condition of rotting leg,
Ew.
and then that might get worse with time.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And I already have a bruised right arm, so that would be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, does it make more sense that fire would burn it, or grease, or
I don't see grease helping you over much.
what about ink? Ink is mess some stuff up.
Like I say,
That well-known disinfectant ink.
Exactly.
we could tie it off so it doesn't spread, but that is a very temporary solution.
I think fire makes the most sense. It seems like an evil thing, and evil things usually don't like fire.
I think it's a. I think it's a. I mean, I think you can take that role. I don't think you're going to get any dice off it. It's just going to be it's going to be Devil's Bargain and Dark Die if you want, and that's it basically.
I'll take it.
Because it's a pretty. It's like doesn't really feel like there's a plan here except just to pray and hope. So, okay. So, what do you hope to accomplish?
Oh wait, what about alcohol? Can I get alcohol off of this list? Because that might.
Oh yeah, that might work. Yeah, that might at least justify a die if nothing else.
Air bladder. They have an air bladder, but not alcohol. Hourglass. No alcohol. Fuck. Okay, I guess I'm burning it.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're trying to accomplish is to stop the festering. Is that fair?
Yeah, unless bottles of lead would help me.
Tyler, I think the way it goes wrong is you just F this up and it spreads and Kel loses a leg.
That sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah.
I don't find that reasonable.
Tyler, any devil's bargains to offer?
I think no matter what, our torch will go out. As a thought.
So you'll be in the dark for a bit because you're acting quickly and you have to. Oh, that's
like,
pretty good. Yeah, I like that personally. But
cinematic as well. I like it.
It is indeed. And Canadians are very scared of the dark. So.
Exactly. My character does not fear the dark. Okay, so that is one dark die?
I think you've got one light die and then a dark die. You can add the dark die later, but you get one light die for now. Okay. You can add it now if you want, but there's no reason to do it now. You can wait.
Right. Let's go. What?
Go ahead and add a dark die.
I got a 5 and a 3. And the dark die is higher than the 3, the light die.
Okay, and is it higher than your current ruin?
3 matches it.
Oh, I mean the dark dive. The dark dive is a 5,
Yeah.
and your current ruin is
3.
3. So yeah, you're going up to 4.
Okay. Getting
Um,
ruined.
I think the ruin is just coming from this is a painful process. It's a painful, disgusting, imperfect process, and there has to be a complication as well. I think the complication is that like that leg's in quite a bit of pain, and you're going to be kind of limping around for probably the rest of the adventure at least. So, in fact, I think I'll just make that a condition. You'll have to clear it when you get back. We'll call it
Red right
painful,
ankle.
painful limp.
Okay.
But at least you didn't lose a leg. But go ahead and describe it. What does this look like?
Yeah, I like if it's cinematically, then what it looks like is just like we just hear the screaming and the sizzling on camera, and then like complete darkness, and it's just like meant to make us feel very uncomfortable
Yeah.
as a viewer.
And I think that I think Marcus will like run, and I imagine you collapse in horrible pain, and maybe in that darkness there's that moment of tenderness, the showing that we are friends and companions, as I'm kind of holding you to try and comfort you through what's pretty awful.
And in the darkness, Kel, you feel Marcus take your hand, and I'm sure this is reassuring in a way. And then you all feel a third hand on top of your hands in the darkness. But maybe you think it's the hand of the other person. I don't know. But there is a third hand in play. Let's have that scene.
Is that you?
I thought it was you, Marcus.
Ah!
Strike the torch. Flit, flit, flit.
It's another one of those claw things. You can hear it flopping around when you kind of bat it away, right? It seems to have crawled out at some point out of the oil. You're in the dark, Marcus. What do you do?
I think I will mark my torch, since we've gotten rid of Kel's. So I think there will be the quick sound of me rummaging and click, desperately trying to get some light in here.
Yeah, I don't need a roll here, but I think the light comes. I think you manage to get the light. You see the thing kind of just like flailing around a little bit. It looks like it maybe isn't as hale and as the other one. It's a little more rotted. It's a little more it's got a little bit more exposed bone, not so much sinew. What do you do?
I'm going to try and smash it.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. I don't. Is this combat? I don't know. I don't think so. I think I just like this as a visual. So go ahead and just describe it.
All right. In shock, the light there and seeing it so close to Kel, and Kel, of course, in terrible, agony. I think we see me push my shield in front of Kel as I bring that torch, and just like using the hilt of it rather than the fiery bit, just smashing straight down to the top of it as it kind of like a spider crush the little fingers on either side of it. Nice. And the bony crunch of it as it lands there, the torch end on it.
Let's name this thing. Let's put it in the bestiary.
The worst period ever, period.
Attached arm and hand with long fingers.
What you think, Fraser? It took a nip out of you. What you think it's called?
Severed arm, let's say.
Something to do with like necrotic tissue or something, like necrotic hand.
I like that, necrotic hand. That's pretty good. Necrotic hand. We could
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't looking. I didn't see any nods or anything.
We have to be stoic to survive this, Jason.
Indeed, indeed. Um, yeah, so that has a rating of 8.
Kel, do you feel like you could travel this? We can't stay here. We must either go back, or if you're able, go forward.
I will grit the pain. It's just physical suffering that my God intended all along.
Oh, my boy. All right, then.
On second thought, though, maybe we'll just try that door that you mentioned earlier.
All right, so what's the plan? Sorry, I was typing.
I think we're going to try the ornate door.
Ah, indeed. So it has a handle, shaped like a snake, of course. Two handles like that. It's like a double door, right? Um, and you open it up, and as like I said, there's no danger in doing that. Let me take a look at the PDF. It opens up to what appears to be a deep, a deep chasm, sort of a circular chasm. Your torchlight does not reach the bottom, and there is a path. So there's like the little landing from the door, and then there's like a path that hugs the wall and spirals down.
It is a great descent. Are you sure that you can make it, Kel?
I'm sure.
No treasure is worth your life, my friend.
This is just merely pain I have to suffer.
Then stay close behind and be careful if you grow weary. Now look over the edge. I don't relish your chances should you fall from the path.
Maybe a few short refs, Marcus.
Then speak up.
The path is quite narrow, and especially given Kel's injured leg, I think you're probably moving along it really slowly, both to be careful and because Kel is moving really slowly. And it's giving you a minute to think. I think I'd like to take a moment to talk about your drives. We haven't talked about your drives much. So, Marcus, you've listed as your drive. Let's see here. Where is it? Finance an expedition into the blossoming sea. What do you hope to find there? Why is this so important to you?
I had heard throughout my life campaigning of the blossoming sea that it is not simply that there are amazing things there, but that the ocean waves themselves are covered in the most beautiful flowering seaweed, that the smell that comes from them reminds you of the most wondrous moments in your life, that it is not just the destination that is in the blossoming sea, it is the travel, it is seeing something new. And as I've gotten older, everything around me seems so worn.
I love it. So this is almost like an adventurous retirement, essentially. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Kel, let's take a look at yours. Earn the right to your family's name. What's that all about?
Yeah, I think that I come from a long line of like very pious people, but I was not hearing the call to God until much later in life when I was a part of the Kingsguard and later fled. So this is all sort of like trying to earn the my family back. They probably like cast me out, and that's why I joined the Kingsguard and whatnot. So
Oh, I
this
see.
pain is
So
sort of like justice tribulation.
I guess the question I have is why do you need money to do it? Like, why is that important? Why can't
Um,
you just go ask nicely?
maybe does it need to be about money, or can it just be like
The fame, I
discovering
suppose.
of the
Yeah.
god and everything?
Yeah, it could be that too. I mean, that's true. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be like literal treasure, but like, well, so why do you have to go on these incursions? I suppose is really what I want to know.
I think to go like literally go through these gambits, these trials that famous other pious people would go to.
Oh,
It's
nice.
always like a journey, and it's almost like a pilgrimage, basically.
Oh, it's like a fucking hellish vision quest or something. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Nightmare walkabout. Yeah, like okay, good. Um, or yeah, it's like a pilgrimage. Yeah, it's good. Labors, Hercules would call them. Okay, so the path ends. It does not go all the way down, um, but it does end to a doorway that goes into a new area. Um, there's no apparent way to continue going down the pit, apart from throwing yourself over the edge. But I will tell you that as you enter, I do step into this new place.
Yes, yes.
Sure.
This this is a new set that you're entering, and
Oh, so we failed.
no, you can go back. It's
Oh,
still you
okay.
can go back and forth. Yeah, it's not like regular trophy where it's one way. Like this is like yeah, you can go back and
Okay.
forth. But this is a different set, and the goal of this set, out of character, it's called the Goblin Warrens, and the goal of it is when you spend your 3 tokens, you get back to the surface. But let's talk about what you find. Uh, get my stuff here. Yeah. This leads to basically it's like a partially collapsed room. Um, and inside this partially collapsed room, there are um, brooms, pitchforks, ably sharpened sticks, kind of just littering, and then like the ceiling and part of the walls like crushed, and so it's like kind of a weird, funny angle. You have to hunker down a little bit, um, and then there appears to be like a um, kind of a small, like half partially obstructed. You'd have to crawl through a door that goes somewhere else. Kel, what do you do?
Let's see. A question too. So if I have burdens 3, I need 3 gold, but then would I need 2 extra gold to cure the conditions? Is it like a gold a condition
You
kind of
can
thing?
only get rid of conditions if you buy a household.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, they're forever. and
Oh
then,
shit. Okay.
and then, but you do need gold to lower your ruin. You
Oh,
have to
and that's
spend
what I
one
need.
gold per ruin. So,
Shoot. Okay.
you,
I'm
at a
a
minimum, you have to meet your burdens.
I'm a look around.
You better start finding treasures. So, how are you looking around? What are you doing?
um, I am going to look for iconography and assume that in a place like this, they would have aptly held or hidden their treasures from robbers and stuff like that. So,
I mean, this just looks like a closet. I mean, possibly an armory of pitchfork and sharp sticks, right, and brooms. But it is. I mean, it's just like it's just a bunch of rubble and crap everywhere.
okay, well, in the future, I'll be looking. Suddenly, my thirst for gold is increased.
But you can burrow through the rubble. I just don't think that like looking for any kind of symbols is going to be helpful. There's really nothing to look at. So.
Yeah, I'll just toss stuff aside and see if anything's there.
Useful. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, we'll go. I think it's a one light die.
Sure. So one.
So.
Is that a hunt roll? Maybe I'll use a dark die.
You can't do that on hunt rolls. On hunt rolls, it's just a light die. Or it's one or two light dice, and that's it.
These hunt rolls are killing me.
You lose all your tokens, and you encounter something terrible.
Oh no!
So how many tokens did you have? You only had one, though, right?
No, I had two.
Oh yeah, they're gone.
Oh.
As you are rummaging around, you move a particularly fearsome set of sharpened sticks out of the way to see what appears to be like a cobra or a viper, reared back, fangs bared, ready to strike. You're having a moment. It has not struck, but you're kind of frozen in place, I'm guessing. You can feel the spider in your throat tickling a little bit. What do you do?
I would stab it with my sword. I think I'm to here with this place.
Fair. I don't know if this really qualifies as combat. I think it's more just like a risk roll.
Sure.
But I like it. So it sounds like you're just trying to kill the snake. That's straightforward.
Although if we do a fight, then maybe I'll get gold.
Oh well, you can always get gold in the body, right? I mean, I suppose you could go retrieve the arms upstairs and get gold off them, right? If you really wanted to.
Well, I'm thirsty for gold.
If you can think of something useful, they would be because you get the rating value in gold dice for them, so
right.
You could always like just grab them and take them with you. And
occult people in the woods need to study these. They're highly valuable.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think it's a risk roll. What could go wrong here, Marcus or Tyler?
Well, other than it striking, I suppose what could go wrong is that, if you miss, it makes an enormous noise and alerts everyone around that we're here.
Mm-hmm. That could be a problem for sure. I think basically it might bite you and envenom you. Do you have any equipment that would be helpful here? You are using your sword, so that could maybe justify it.
Yeah, I've got a sword. I don't have armor or anything like
and
that.
The sword gives you some reach, so I think that counts. You can take a light die for that.
Or I could use a crossbow at range, so it's like harder for it to get at me or something.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah. I mean, either way, I think it's the same effect.
Sure.
And Devil's Bargains? I think Devil's Bargains, no matter what, there's a patrol that's alerted. So, do you take that?
No.
Just one. All right, go roll your one die.
I've got enough ones. The Lord is on my side now. Oh, fuck. I got a 3. So I can do dark, though?
You can add a dark die, yeah, and then roll them both.
I'm doing it. A 1 and a 2? What the fuck?
Was the dark die higher?
Yeah, it's a 2.
Oh, that means you have to stop, too. You can't add any more.
Rip kill.
I'm going to miss you.
I think I think what it is, it's the hesitation of whether you should use your sword or your crossbow that causes this, and you hesitate too long. The snake strikes out, bites you. After it bites you, you can just kill it, right? No problem at that point. But you are envenomed, and you feel your body seizing up. Marcus, you will see Kel seizing up, like he's like dropping to the ground, like kind of seizing up. What do you do?
I don't have very good medical capabilities, and so pee on you. Um, there is the old adage that I imagine a soldier would have heard, which is to cut it open and try and squeeze the venom out. And I
Okay,
think
go for it.
that's probably what I'm going to try and do. I do have a skinning knife.
Okay.
And I'll give him a hard candy to suck on while I'm doing this.
Okay, so you're gonna try to squeeze out or possibly suck out the venom, and that seems like a reasonable outcome. What could go wrong here, Fraser?
Well, Marcus could get envenomed by imbibing the poison.
Possibly. I was gonna say that that like I think you take I don't think it's like a deadly poison. I think it's a paralytic.
Oh shit.
And I think you're just like paralyzed, which would be a big problem. So
so
light die for the light die for the knife for
Okay.
sure.
improvising. Oh, I only get the
It's
one
just-
no matter
it's just
what.
one, yeah. Devil's bargains. I'm gonna go back to the patrol. There's a patrol that hears you.
That's just too risky. Me trying to fight them off by myself. I think I'll roll my one die.
I think we know what the gods want with me anyway. You're dead.
All right, so I'm moving my dice down here, and I'm going to roll one. I got a 3.
You better grab a dark die.
I am grabbing a dark die and re-rolling. Come on, baby, double 2s.
You get to keep. You get to add another one.
I can. Okay.
Oh yeah. It's
I
only
will.
only if the black is higher. Only if the dark is higher than the light.
All right, come on. Now my luck's giving out on me, isn't it?
It's because it's me.
A 6 on my light die.
Good. Describe how you prevent the poison from paralyzing.
I think that, with that skinning knife, I cut in and, bite down on the candy. It's very sweet. And and as, the blood begins to flow, I'm pulling on it and spitting it out. I think that we can see the poison, it's a nice fantasy setting. So we could see the black awfulness of the poison as I spit it out. And then, the wound begins to bleed free and clean red as I kind of, are you all right?
I'm as well as could be expected, Marcus.
Kel, I know that we have talked about going on and that you are capable of handling a great deal, but I think we should retreat from this broom closet of doom. Perhaps we should go back up.
I think that might be for the best. Well, let's take the snakes in the hands and see if some fools will buy them off of us, and we'll give them to a snake oil expert or something.
I think if you take the snake, we'll say the venom sac of the snake is, you can put that as found equipment, the venom sac, and that's worth 1 gold if you wish to sell it. But otherwise, you can also use it as venom. A paralytic.
Go ahead, you can write that down. It's you're more closely associated with that venom.
He did kill the snake, so
Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe
So you're making your way back up.
Yeah, let's get some handses.
You can grab the 2 necrotic arms. You can both take one if you wish, but in any case, roll 8 gold dice for both of them.
Go ahead and roll yours.
Let's see. So 4 and 4, right?
Yeah.
Shazam.
Or no, it's 8. It'd be 16 total for both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll roll another 4. And we're looking for 6s?
For 6s.
Not 1.
Maybe that's the one that was already really gross to begin with. What about the other one?
Let's see. Let's roll 8. And I'll roll. I'll roll orange for these. I got one.
All right, necrotic arm, 1 gold. You can note that.
I'm gonna clear room. All right.
Let's take a quick 2-minute bio break. Okay.
Cool.
Kicking around relentlessly. Roll for your party hates you. And seems to love Marcus.
Yep, you should see. Well, on the flip side, though, when there's games that roll low, I fucking slay. So.
Stupid roll for your party, it doesn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we take a minute to refresh ourselves on the going back to town rules in case you decide you want to do that. I mean, you don't have to. You can keep going, but it's not like the end of the world right now. But just in case you want to consider it, this is what happens. Let me find it real quick. So, all right. Give me 1 sec. Okay. all right. So you have burdens. It's always one plus an additional burden for each piece of combat equipment. You can take on additional burdens over the course of the game. For example, you can take on a household as a burden. Um, household uh, heals you of one ruin automatically when you go back to town and all conditions. Um, but it's an extra burden. You can get a library. Um, you've acquired a few small spell books you can carry with you on your journey. Studying them unlocks new rituals at a cost of one burden per ritual. So basically, every new ritual is a burden if you have the library. You can do training. If you have you can have a mentor train you in the use of a new skill, and each skill you acquire costs a burden. And so that's those are some things that will increase your burden in addition to combat equipment. If you don't return to town with gold equal to or greater than your number of burdens, you lose the game. You're done. You've overextended yourself, promised your patrons too much, and end up in debtor's prison or worse. Your treasure hunter is no longer playable, and you must make a new one. But if you return with an overabundance of gold, you can spend it or stash it. Stash it, that just goes towards your drive. Spending it, though, you can carouse, spend a gold to get useful information before beginning an incursion. This can be rumors, maps, or a monster's weakness. A named monster's weakness. You can spend a gold to open up your equipment slots in your backpack. You can spend gold to heal yourself of one ruin. Or you can stash it. So hoard it, heal, equipment, or carousing. So basically, that's kind of the deal there. Note the only way you can get rid of conditions is to take on the burden of a household. Let's see. I don't think so. I think you all have to have your own household because it's like it represents like the people attached to your household. That's the burden is like upkeep, right? And so if there were two of you, it would just be more upkeep, right? So yeah, but that's that.
Jason,
You don't have to return. I just want to throw it out there.
The where you say putting it into your stash, is it still accessible? I mean, is it?
No. Once it goes to stash, it is. Well, I don't know for sure. Let's see here. It doesn't say, but every other game that has this as a feature, you can't get the gold out.
Okay. So you can't save gold and carry it out with you to hedge against coming back under burden.
I don't think so. No, that doesn't.
Okay.
I don't think that would
that makes that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's not in the rules, but that doesn't make any sense for the sort of
cool
push your luck aspect of the game. So
yeah.
So anyway, you're back to the other set where if you spend 3 tokens, you discover the serpent. The children of the serpent's hidden treasure.
And just to check in with you, Kel, can you cover your burdens? Okay. Provided I sell, I'm up to. All right. And so we covered, and you have no tokens at this point because you lost all yours, right? And I have 1. So I think that once we get back to the icky water
room,
Kettle, do you feel that you can stand us? Do you think one last look over this place? We've already made the great long journey to the broomed closet. Perhaps there's something more useful up here. Well, we will not extend ourselves far. I don't wish to see you. Well, I don't wish. We still have a long trip back. I want you hale and hearty.
No, they're just like fictional positioning penalties.
Like if we had to run, I imagine you
You
literally
wouldn't be
would
able
be a problem.
to. Yeah.
All right, my friend. We'll at least give a quick look around here before we head out.
So, Marcus, what's your plan? Where are you looking?
Um, we have a couple open and we have a couple with doors.
Yeah, well, the one opens one you just came from, and then there's one that was open already, and then there's 5 with doors, 5
Okay.
open doors.
And they all look identical doors, right?
Roughly, yeah, just like simple wooden doors.
Well, eeny, meeny, it is you. And I will head over and knowing the possibility of traps, be at least careful as I attempt to open this door.
All right.
Which way is southeast? Oh, good. Good, that works out.
We'll say it's the third of the 5 doors. Does that sound reasonable?
Fine.
Uh, let's have a roll. Um, can you justify a light die for skills or equipment
Let's see.
for a hunt roll?
Um, unless it's locked, I don't know if my crowbar overly helps. We do have torches going, so we have light. Does that perhaps?
I mean, I think the doors are locked, so crowbar could be helpful here.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I think the crowbar will help there.
All right, sounds good. Go ahead and make a hunt roll with 2 light dice.
2 light die. Yes. All right. Submit. 5 and 6.
Nice. You get a token. The door pops open easily. And let's take a look at the PDF. I've already lost my place. You open this door, and there is no tunnel here. This is a partially collapsed room, just like the little closet down below, but it is considerably more collapsed. Like you can only see I mean, you can. There's the gap is like just 2 feet, maybe, right? And otherwise, it's just rubble. But on the other side of the rubble, you can hear shuffling of feet and metal being dragged on the stone. And when you opened the door, you heard a sort of
That doesn't sound good, Cal.
Close the door. I don't think that's southeast.
Never mind.
Yeah, different door.
close that one up. All right, you've got the first, second, fourth, and fifth door, and then the open passage. Kel, what do you do?
Yeah.
I am going to roll a die to see which one I open. Oh, but it doesn't work. 3.
So we'll say the second door then.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's also locked.
Marcus, you want to help me out?
Here's my crowbar, lad.
Give me 2 light dice.
Alrighty. 4.
So you get a token, so note that. And you crack open the door, and as soon as you pull the door open, It's just a little tiny alcove, no bigger than a walk-in closet, and it appears to exist solely to trap people because you just hear a chunk chunk and a massive mace swings down from the ceiling right at your face.
Sweet.
What do you do?
I burn it. No, I jump out of the way.
Fair enough. Your bum leg is not going to help you with that matter. It's probably slowing your reaction a little bit. I think the best you can hope for here is probably Devil's Bargain. What could go wrong here, Tyler?
What could go wrong? And what is it that's coming at him?
Just a big mace swinging from the ceiling.
I think that since this is the door right next to the one we heard the shuffling, it will then smash into the wall and open up where that thing can come through.
Oh, or maybe yeah. Well, so the way it's positioned, it really kind of couldn't, but maybe the mechanism
Rips, yeah.
the mechanism rips down and tears the wall. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and don't think you're getting a lie die. I don't think you really have any justification for that here. Devil's Bargain, possibly. I'll say Devil's Bargain. You dodge the thing, but what Tyler's described happens. Like the mechanism like crashes and like breaks the wall into the other room, thereby freeing the skeleton or whatever it was, the creature.
But then what am I rolling for though if I succeed on the Devil's Bargain?
That happens no matter what. If you succeed, you just don't get hit by the mace.
Okay, yeah, that sounds nice.
Go ahead and roll that die.
A 5.
Do you want to add dark die? Try to get a 6?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
A 5 on the dark instead.
What's your
4.
current?
So I go up.
Yeah, and I assume that was higher than the light die.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I think you're able to dodge out of the way without any particular trouble. I think basically just you dodge out of the way, and the ruin. We're gonna say the ruin is coming from. I think your leg is just wrenched because it's so painful. Like so, you just kind of like you're kind of laying on the ground, like having kind of strained your leg a little bit, and then we hear the crash of the mechanism as it kind of tears open the wall. The complication here is you're on the ground and can't really help right now, Kel.
I'm like, Marcus, save yourself.
Marcus, you
Take
can
my
see what's
bag.
happening. The wall dividing the two chambers is busted open, and you see this skeletal creature. It looks like not a serpent, just like a man humanoid with an axe is like trying to climb over the rubble to get at you. What do you do?
I'm moving in and I'm going to fight it.
Nice. Yeah, take action. It's good.
Yeah.
I've got a crossbow.
I've got equipment that should help with this, so I let's do it.
Yeah, it's got a rating of 7. So
and
tricky on one die.
yeah. Okay, that's all right.
You have to survive a round. If you survive a round, then you get another die to roll against it.
And because I'm only going to have one die, there's nothing that's going to add in to help that, right?
Yeah, you just have to survive a round so you can get another die.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll your weak point, which is to roll a light die to see what your weak point is.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to roll that one up top. And my 4.
Okay. Then roll your dark die to engage it.
Roll a dark die to engage it. 1. And it's going to be... I don't have a black die. That's kind of a shame. It'll be red. Submit. To 6.
It doesn't matter because you gotta get 7, but basically just describe the kind of fighting to a draw here.
And it will give me a ruin, right?
No, it doesn't. I don't think so. The only thing that can happen here is if you hit that weak point number. So
And what would that do to
that increases your ruin.
that? Increases my ruin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But for now, you just describe how you kind of fight the creature to a draw at this point.
Okay, I think it's trying to claw through the rubble, and since I've rushed forward with my shield and my mace, I'm trying to keep it having to come over the barricade. So I'm using that defensively and striking at it as it's clawing through and holding it back.
Nice. I like it. Now you get 2 dark dice for the second go around.
Okay.
Roll them both and add them together. You're looking
And
for
I
7.
keep the same
The weak point number stays. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to submit one and then I'll roll them both together. So there, that one's, God, I should have kept that. That's 2, that's 6. All right, so let's re-roll them. Ugh. 1 and a 3.
But no 4.
No 4.
Continue the fight.
I will continue the fight. So I get another die?
Well, I'll describe it first and then.
Oh, I see. I think that he, with that not very good rolling, I think he's pushing me back. He's clawed through there, and as I'm hitting at him, he's shrugging off these sort of things, despite what D&D tells us this mace is not very effective against a skeleton. And so he's driven me back to the door itself, and Kel, they're writhing behind me as we're fighting above him.
Nice.
Sweep the leg, Kel! Sweep the leg!
Well, the funny thing is I actually think it does have a weakness of bludgeoning, but I think you have to discover it first before you can get the mechanical advantage of it. But in any case, go ahead and let's go to the third round. You have not taken any ruins, so you're good as far as all that goes.
And do I add another die, or is it just
You add a third die. Yep.
Add a third time. Boy, howdy. Okay. I will submit one more and roll them all together. All right. Come on. That's a 10.
Nice.
But I did hit my weak point.
How many times?
Once.
Okay. So you're going to take a hit. So describe destroying it, but also taking a hit.
It comes in as it reaches with its claws. It seems, maniacally focused towards those claws, coming towards my throat, towards my eyes. And as it leaps forward, I bring my mace down upon its head, shattering the skull there. And just as it would reach for my throat, I quickly move back my gauntlets so that the claws crash against it, and I'll mark them to avoid the ruin.
Oh, nice. Yeah, good. Go ahead and roll 7 gold dice.
Alrighty. Ooh. It's marked with a tiny little X. So 7. And we'll roll silver. Come on. Nothing. I got a rock.
No, single 6. Yeah, just the shittiest, crummiest skeleton they could find. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to name this creature?
I think we'll go with let's go with Unquiet Dead.
Nice. Yeah, that's great.
And I will look at Kel and say, I think it's done for, and I think we should spend our tokens.
Do you have 3?
I think so.
Or well, do we?
Yeah, Kel had 1.
Do we need tokens to leave?
Nope. but you need tokens to find the treasures in this
Oh,
to complete this set goal.
right. Yeah. Okay. Might as well do that.
I've noted here for the Unquiet Dead, Skeletal Warriors. I have go ahead and given you the credit for the weakness, which is bludgeoning. So from now on, if you face an Unquiet Dead, you know you can invoke the weakness and it'll reduce its rating. It won't be as hard. So, are you guys spending your tokens?
Yeah, I spent one.
I'll spend my 2.
You're catching your breath in the pit room, having had a very stressful time. And that mace just kind of there clunked on the ground, and the bones of the skeleton scattered here and there. And you start to hear some sloshing around in the pit. And if you look around the pit, if you look inside, shine your torch there, you'll see that there is like kind of a shower part in the pit, and you can see half submerged in the liquid there is a rotting head, and it's just laying there, and it's just like kind of like going, and also strewn about the head are several good-looking treasures. I shall describe them for you. A heavy gold chain, an assortment of random gems and jewels, and what appears to be, can't quite tell exactly what it is. There's not much description I can give you until you look at it, but it appears to be like a ring of some sort, silver ring. And they're just kind of like all kind of clustered in a kind of a thinner, shallower part of the pit. Within reach.
Kel, I think we may have found a bit of riches to make this worthwhile.
Thank you, good Lord.
Think you could use your sword to maybe scoot that head off from over there?
Sure. I'll just, I guess, like, bat it away.
So you're batting the head away?
Yeah.
All right. And then what?
Taking the ring.
You can take, there's a ring, the gold chain, and some gems. You can gather it all up if you guys take a minute to get it. Mm-hmm. And the head will just kind of sink as it's like gibbering in the muck. You see it bubbling, the ooze.
Rest in peace.
Who's taking what? You got heavy gold chain, random gems and jewelry, and the silver ring. The ring is engraved with an eyeball on the on the band.
I called dibs on that. Maybe we
You
should
suffered moderately.
Maybe we should search the room where the skeleton came from as well. You already killed it.
I will tell you that you find nothing. That was yeah.
We're tokenless, and it's more of a, I don't know, Kel. We may be pressing our luck at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in pretty rough shape. I'm at 5 ruin. 2 conditions.
Oh dear. Then yeah, we'll gather up if you wish to claim that ring. I certainly won't stop you.
It's all getting sold anyway.
The ring is 1 gold. The gold chain is 1 gold, and the random assortment of gems and jewels is 2 gold. You guys can just split that and make that gold in your
okay.
Your number there if you want to add 1 there, and then just So just add 1 to each of your gold, and then just write down the gold chain, and the ring.
I'll take the chain then.
Sounds good. I think all of my money is going to be going to paying off stuff and to reducing ruin.
Indeed. Heading back home?
Oh, I think
Yes.
so.
All right. So, do you ever put that ring on?
Sure.
Yeah, I figured you might try it on. As soon as you try the ring on, your right eyeball turns to glass, pops out of your skull into your hand, and the curious thing is you can see out of your glass eyeball that fell out of your skull.
Oh dear Lord, Cal!
I'm having a day. So here's a question: if I put it back in and remove the ring,
It goes back to normal.
okay, thank God. Does that knowledge increase its value?
I mean, yeah, that does make it more valuable. You might want to keep it too because it's a pretty valuable. I mean, it's a
It's true.
pretty significant magical item.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I might need that to check under doors.
But if you want to sell it, I think it's a 3 gold thing.
Interesting.
Let's return home, Cal. You need medical treatment.
You can say that again. I need to buy one of those little boards with some wheels on it. Go around.
Okay, so we're not gonna like RP the journey back. I think you are able to get back fine.
Gimping along.
Yeah, it's a slow going journey, but you managed to get back. Let's talk about being back. Okay, so you need to spend gold equal to your burdens and erase that much. So,
yeah,
or erase gold equal to your burdens.
And are we assumed to be able to sell the stuff we have?
Yeah, that's automatic. You don't have to like haggle or anything like that.
Good. Then I will get rid of those. And get rid of this gem.
And then after you've cleared your burdens, I'm curious how much you each have left over.
I've got the ring and 2 gold.
Okay, so 2 theoretically 5.
I have stuff worth 3 and 1 gold left.
Okay, so 4. You can spend 1 gold per ruin to lower your ruin. If you wish to take a household, you can lower ruin and clear your conditions as well. To take a household, you have to increase your burdens by 1.
I am going to take a household.
Yeah, might as well.
So up your burdens.
And I can clear my conditions.
Yeah, you'll be able to clear your conditions. It's assumed that you're taking a good long break from from engineering, or at least a few weeks.
Did I spend a gold with that?
No, you don't spend any gold to establish the household. That's just a burden increase.
Okay.
But you do get an automatic lowering of your ruin, which is nice. Plus, you reduce your conditions or remove them. I do want to talk about your households, though. You have household in Fort Durin, or maybe just outside of Fort Durin, say. I'm curious about why you chose. Let's make it a paint the scene question. Tell me first a little bit about the home you've chosen, and then tell me for the other character what you see that makes it pretty distinctly their home. Like, you come over to bring over some muffins or something, and you're to check on each other. What is it about? Tell me about your own home first. Whenever you have whoever's ready, just let me know.
I think my home, it is, it's a fairly modest cottage. It's nice, but it's not extravagant. But it does have a really very nice garden around it with all of the flowers, um, shades of my dream of the blossoming sea. And in my household, I have an older gentleman who is my gardener, who is known for his skill with plants.
Nice, nice. You're an older gentleman too, aren't you?
I'm up there.
Is there a little thing with you and the gardener, or this is just a friendly?
I think at this point it's probably just a friendly thing, but time may make us more
Yeah,
fond.
something may blossom.
Right there, look, I saw what you did.
Nice. Kel, tell me about your house.
Can it be like a church?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I take up a position as a pastor in like, I'm thinking essentially like True Blood town, like small town with like a church that is like dilapidated and like falling
Oh,
apart,
okay. Like a little
basically.
dilapidated country church.
Exactly, yeah. And
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like slowly working at restoring it type
Improving it.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so Marcus, what can you, when you go to visit this church, what do you see that shows that Kel is making it home?
It's not comfortable. It is a trial unto itself in that I can see where he's working to improve it, but I can also tell he's never quite going to be satisfied. He's always going to be changing or working at it. Will continue to be that bit of a labor that he works through.
Constant self-improvement, right? Kel, when you go to visit Marcus, how do you know that you're in Marcus's home?
Hmm. Oh, I think that perhaps he has arrayed his um battle stuff on the wall as one is wont to do sometimes. So like the gauntlets are in a specific position and there's like a space for more to come in the future. I guess some of it's probably like dented a little bit.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's great. So, some more housekeeping stuff. By returning you back, you also get to unmark all your combat equipment as well. So that's a thing, and or your armor at least, whatever gets marked. Um, do you want to spend any more gold to reduce your ruin?
Oh yeah. I'll spend both of mine to go down to 2, I think
Okay,
would be
but you're
wise.
keeping the ring.
Yeah, I'll keep the ring.
I also spent to take mine down.
Okay.
To it is now down to 2.
Okay. Awesome. Um, getting we're still about 20 minutes away. I guess let's take a look and see if there's anything else we
Can
can.
I ask? I know that we have to hoard any extra gold.
I don't know if you have to. Let's see. You don't have to. That's just a spending option. One of the spend options is to put it in your hoard.
But it's
Otherwise, you
not
can.
going to go with us.
I mean, it stays in your equipment, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, would it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it would just. All right. And if we have gold as gold,
It just stays
just
where
stays.
it
It
is.
just isn't going to count for our
Right.
burdens going back out. Okay.
Or no, I mean it counts for like the future. I mean it's not spent yet, right?
I
It's
thought
just
we
not
were
stashed. It's just not stashed. Once you
right.
stash it, it's permanent.
Right, but it wouldn't count like I have 1 gold. If I went out adventuring, it's not going to reduce the amount I need to come back, right? Wasn't
Your
that what
burdens stay
you're
the
saying?
same, but you can spend it to satisfy your burden, certainly. Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
Yeah, just once you stash it, it's like permanently
Then it's gone.
stashed. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And there's no way to reduce burdens ever.
No, Jesse even said in the forums today that he made a particular point of saying that like it's kind of permanent. So, he said if you lose armor or weapons in combat or like in the field, he said that's a more justifiable case for lowering your burdens. But things like your household, things like someone on the forum suggested like taking a burden to have a hireling, And he said, "Yeah, that makes sense. Like because even if the hireling dies, you have to like
Pay the
support their
contract.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah, support their family and stuff now, right? Like that kind of thing, or help their family. So yeah,
Yeah,
that kind of
we
thing. Hirelings that's not actually an option, but somebody was saying like, could I do a hireling burden? And Jesse's like, yeah.
we need a hireling with 2 people.
I mean, I was actually Marcus actually handled himself pretty well in that combat. We got to see how a one-person combat goes. I mean, you basically have to survive a few rounds before you can get enough chance to actually kill it. So I thought that would work pretty great. But
If it was me, I'd be dead.
yeah, you'd come up all.
Fours,
If you
yeah.
had a 4, it'd be all 4s. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to do before we wrap? I mean, I don't know if we want to go back to the dungeon or. I guess we could because that's what we're going to be doing next week. So it's presumably going back to the dungeon.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything else I need to do in town.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'm picking up a library, and I don't think I'm training yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can also spend gold to get rumors and stuff as well, or valuable information, or something, or to learn a monster's weakness, a named monster's weakness. Another option.
And so we're going back to the Serpent Temple.
That's all I've planned. Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing else planned for this series.
Okay. Then yeah, I think I'll spend a gold to see if we can get some valuable information
Yeah.
about the temple.
I think that's good. Let's have that scene.
Okay.
So I think you're at the pub. You're at the inn. What's the name of the inn? Let's do the classic, the blank blank. One of you provide the adjective, one of you provide the noun. What's the adjective?
The resplendent.
Fraser, what's the noun?
Ox.
The resplendent ox. You're in the resplendent ox. I think this is a pub in Fort Duran, and because everybody sets out from Fort Duran, and I think there's a man you're kind of sitting with. You've been kind of like, there's some old hands there tonight, right? Some people who've been out, who've returned from old Caldur, returned from incursions of their own, and now they just swap stories, right? And so if you spend the evening kind of buying them drinks and food, they will open up with their stories, right? And one of them says, "Oh, yeah. I've been to that tomb. They call it the Tomb of the Serpent Kings. I know it well. I was a very young man, much more spry than I am now. Oh, the stories I could tell. The stories I could tell." And Kel, he's starting to kind of like fall asleep a little bit.
I think that's when I walk up from the bar with a big mug and I slam it down.
That's good. Yeah. He's like, yes. Well, truth be told, I didn't have much time to really find anything in that old tomb. First of all, you should know that there's a secret tomb. Yes, the tomb. The tomb is not really the tomb. There's a secret passage down into the true tomb. And you know this already. But no, I didn't get a chance to find too much treasure. I was delayed, you see. Delayed by he just kind of falls asleep again.
Jeez.
Marcus. passing out again, Marcus. What do you do?
Wake up!
Yes. Well, yes,
You were
Tomb
delayed.
of the Serpent Kings. Yes, I was there. You know, there's two tombs. There's the false tomb and the true tomb. I didn't find too many treasures myself. I was delayed, you see. I was delayed. There is a fellow, if you can call him that, a strange sort of creature. Kind of unnerving. Called himself Zizamantur. Zizamantur. Yeah. But friendly, despite his ill-favored look. He was remarkably polite and very, very friendly. Wanted me to help him with his experiments. And so long as I helped him with his experiments, he was very, very charming. Even offered a sort of mushroom thing for me to eat. I didn't partake, but when it was all done, he gifted me with a couple of potions, sent me on my way.
What experiments was this gentleman about?
Well, mostly it involved chucking goblins down into a pit and pouring things on them.
Oh.
The reactions were, well, let's just say I still occasionally hear the screaming of those wretched creatures in my dreams.
If you don't mind me asking, how did you find this gentleman? What door did you take, sir?
Oh, who can say? I can't even remember. It's been so long. Most of the doors are sealed up. I can't remember exactly. Oh, one thing. I came in. Let's just say I came in through the back way. If you come in through the front way, it's considerably more dangerous.
And this back way, my friend. As I slide, I suppose, the goal that's the cause of all this. What might that be?
All I remember is that the front way is where Zizimander's creature, guardian pet of sorts, lives. You'll know it because you'll see statues everywhere.
I see. Yeah, well, thank you, my friend.
If you see old Zizimander, tell him Petri says hello.
We will do so. Thank you, Petri. Another round.
No, I'm not Petri.
Oh.
No.
Who's Petri?
Oh, friend of mine. We don't really want to go into that story, do we?
Well, maybe.
I think there we'll drop the curtain.
Right.
Fade to black. Yeah. Anything else? That was pretty helpful, I think.
Yeah.
So there's a back way.
Back way to this Zezamantor.
Yeah.
Ziggy.
And importantly, Zizimander was friendly. That's
Yeah.
kind of the key bit of information.
Unless you're
there.
a goblin.
Yeah. There's never good at fuck to it. Yeah.
Well, Kel, you certainly had a difficult time last we went, but
I'm feeling very spry. I've learned a lot. I've prayed a lot. I wrote it all in my journal, so if I never make it home, others will learn.
well, then perhaps if you're feeling adventurous, we shall make our way once more.
We shall call it the Fellowship of the Ring. And I show you my glass eyeball again.
I suppose I'll pull up my ring with its tiny little blade.
Oh yeah. Click.
Good. Let's just go stars and wishes. So, stars, things you liked. Wishes, things you hope to see next time. Stars, I really enjoyed this. It was some good role playing. I'm glad that you two were able to work some role play into the dungeon crawl. That was very enjoyable. And despite the fact that Kel suffered so immensely this series or this session, I enjoyed the Kel's storyline. I enjoyed kind of watching all that, and I also like the sort of like seeing Kel kind of like like establish his church. I thought that was really enjoyable. Actually, both of you, like establishing your households was kind of fun. And I thought we got a good glimpse of the combat rules again too. The combat remains super interesting to me in this game. So wishes. I do hope you meet Zizamander now that Zizamander is on the table. I think that'll be fun to roleplay. Anybody else?
Fraser, would you like to go?
Yeah, it was very enjoyable for me. I like the push your luck if you hadn't noticed. I do it often to my detriment. I thought I was gonna die there, and I was, and I would have been fine with that as well. But surprisingly, yeah, I came back pretty like spry. Like I've got 2 ruin, no conditions. I gotta get 1 more gold, but I think we're doing pretty good for like just 2 PCs.
Yeah. I think to this session in particular, we got to really see the complete picture of kind of like what's at stake when you're playing this game and for your character and like what you're pushing your luck for, basically. So yeah, I thought that was really good.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea too of the idea that each set we kind of have like a player goal. So there's like a, do we want to continue or do we want to keep looking for tokens?
Oh, and you know what? One little bit of housekeeping that I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a magic item, if you keep it, you have to increase your burdens by 1.
Oh snap! Okay.
So if you don't sell the ring, your burdens go up by 1 if you keep it.
Oh man, I don't know if I can afford that. I'd rather have like armor or something.
What are your burdens at?
4. So
It'll be a 5 if you take them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, Marcus is at what, 6?
Yeah, but Marcus gets a lot more gold than me. I'm like token but snake every time. I'll just make a note and think about it.
Yeah, just for next time and make a decision on it and then sort it out. Any wishes?
Wishes. I think just more kind of combat stuff. I think that there could be some more items in the backpack.
You can spend gold to open up your slots. So that is the thing.
And what does that mean? Open up your slots.
You just make those 3 that are like can be chosen. Like you can choose whatever from the list. Those you just make them back like basically you just reset them to nothing so that you can
rechoose.
So you can rechoose a new thing.
Yeah. So we are currently with the things we pulled.
Forever.
Right. Yeah. Until you open up the slot. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And like the things, like I have that winter wolf pelt. Mm-hmm. Would opening up a slot allow me to like replace it with something else?
I think that those 3 slots are like not variable like the other 3 are.
Kind of character decision-y or character building.
Yeah. We can research it later, but I think that like you just ever have those 3 kind of like random choice slots, but I can't quite recall. I'd have to look up the rule. But
cool. Okay. Yeah. We need to eat more of my hard candy.
Yeah. Gotta use it up. Yeah, I think just seeing more of the system, and for me, my personal goal is to be in combat. See how I fare.
Nice. Tyler, any stars or wishes?
Yeah, I continue to really like this system, really like this game. I think the combat is interesting. It turns out that my character is pretty good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Just off of, it seems a fair set of burdens to, to have this armor. I liked seeing it go through. I like the weak point as a thing in combat. That's really interesting.
Oh, and I forgot to actually ask you, how are you leaving yourself exposed? Whenever you roll that, you're supposed to say, like, this is how I'm exposed. But
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if it's baked into the game, but you're very good about when something happens, like in that combat, you come to the player and, describe that out, say where that's going. And that's always so gratifying that you open that up to people. So
that's in the rules. Yeah,
it is.
That's how I run a combat anyway. But that is actually like part of the game. Like
the
players narrate that.
Yeah, then I think that's excellent. I think that just adds so much to the the commitment in it. That's really lovely. So far, I think this is. I really like this mechanic. I think I'm not a huge OSR person, but this is if I'm playing something OSR, this is perfect. Yeah, this is everything I can ask for.
And this feels like an OSR experience to me. I mean, it's not D&D, but you are in a dungeon, you are carefully searching around, you are using your equipment, it's deadly.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
It's all that stuff, right? Yeah.
So it's I'm really enjoying that. I also want to say, Fraser, I enjoyed our kind of back and forth, the chance we had to role play. I think we're seeing a little bit of the relationship we have, and I think that, we're building that together, and a huge star to you that, I mean, it's making sense what we have going on, and I think that's lovely. Jason, of course, always a star to you for you run so eloquently. It's always so good. And I suppose for wishes for me, I really do want to kind of run across the weirdnesses in this place. I'm interested to see what's all down here, so I'm looking forward to plumbing its depths.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Well, we're booked for one more session. If we're enjoying it, we can see about continuing on if this time works for people. But I just wanted to book enough sessions to at least do Tomb of the Serpent Kings so I can talk about it in Fear of Black Dragon. I'm marking stuff off a list right now, so that's one of the things I want to get done. If anybody's going to be at Gauntlet Con, I'm running a 4-session closed series for Gauntlet Con of Trophy Gold, and it's a commitment. You got to do all 4 sessions, or I prefer you do. But I think I've still got one spot if anyone's interested. So
I'm all booked in.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of people who are like oh, I'm already booked, or whatever. But it's fine. It was a late edition, so.
And I'm running. I've got 3 things I'm running too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to run anything else. I think I might just do this Trophy Gold series and then play in other people's games. So, but in any case, well, I will see you all next week.
Goodbye, y'all.
See you.
See ya.